Hello and welcome to my November TBR. I typically, for my TBR, play a TBR game called Snakes and TBR Stacks. However, for November, I've decided to take off the month and let myself kind of mood read. It seems to be that every single year November is a month for me to play catch up on books I still want to read, books I've said I was going to read, and to kind of take it easy before I have to really get to doing things with end of year content. That's why we're not playing Snakes and TBR Stacks, just to keep it a little bit easier on myself and my reading and my channel goals. Not gonna lie, I just went on mood reading in November, so this is a list of just books that I'm interested in, not necessarily books I'm actually going to read. Not sure how you guys feel about that, but I will be trying to go over some of the videos I have planned to hopefully make up for some of that. I do have a few book club books, and I also have a readathon I'm participating in. In November, I'm hosting a Patreon readathon. It happens all month long. It's open to all tiers. That is Realmathon adjacent. If you are familiar with my readathon called Realmathon that happens every year in April, but actually in 2024 it'll be happening in March, there's always 4 realms. And so this month for my Patreon, they are essentially doing a sorting hat test where they're going to get reading prompts and questions, and at the end of the month they'll be sorted into what realm their answers relate to the best. And I think it's gonna be a whole lot of fun. I'm really excited for it. We have prompts dropping every Sunday and Thursday and reading sprints to follow every Thursday night. And I think it's gonna be a whole lot of fun. I'm really excited to see where everyone lies. You're also getting sneak peeks because at the end of the month you will be told about what realm you're put into. You'll see a little bit of information for Realmathon in March, and I'm just like really excited about both this Patreon readathon and Realmathon in March. I think it's my best one yet. I'm really proud of the concept and the graphics and the merch and everything I've come up with. And as I said, that is open to all tiers on my Patreon. That is linked down below always if you are interested. I should also put a disclaimer that this in no way affects Realmathon at all. It's just a fun little mini thing where you get sorted into a realm. But come Realmathon, this has nothing to do with it besides that some people will be like, oh, I got sorted into this realm, so I'm choosing this realm. And then I do have just a few book club things that are happening in November. Backlist Book Club is finishing up the Book of the Ancestor trilogy. It's technically our October read, but the live show is the first Sunday of November for Holy Sister. So if you haven't read this, you do need to read it by Sunday. And I believe in you because I also still need to read it by Sunday. The third and final book in the Book of the Ancestor trilogy, which follows Nona Gray, who ends up at a convent for assassin nuns where she may or may not be the chosen one, and we just kind of watch her evolve, and there is a war coming. I am also a co-host for Busy Bee Book Club this month, which is a book club hosted by Erin from Booked and Busy. We are reading Dreams of the Dying by Nicholas Utzau? Not sure that's how you say it, which is a indie horror fantasy. I'm really excited about this one. I believe there's something about nightmares in this, your mind being the enemy. The king has fallen into a coma and he's stuck in his nightmares, and our main character has to get him out, which I think just sounds really interesting. I could be wrong, but I think that's what it's about, and I'm just really excited about that. So thank you, Erin, for asking me to be a co-host for this. I believe it is me, Erin, and Mel from Melanor Reads, and it's going to be a really fun discussion. I hope you join us and read the book along with us. And then Mel and me run a Patreon book club for our 2 top tiers called the Indie Archive, and we decided to pick a Spiffbo 9 finalist for this month, so we are reading Daughter of the Beast by E.C. Greaves. This month for our Patreon book club, there's a Discord for this and everything. I have to read this anyways because I am a Spiffbo judge, so it just was really easy on me, and I'm really excited to see everyone's thoughts on this. I think we follow a girl who was taken from her village and then trained to be a Valkyrie, which is essentially a killing machine, but the Valkyrie are actually monsters, and we follow this story unfold. I'm really excited for this one. I'm so excited that this made it to the finals. And on to the mood reading plans. One of the things I do need to do, and I want to prioritize, is my Spiffbo 9 reads. I'm obviously a judge this year for Spiffbo 9, which means I have to read all 10 finalists. I've already read one because I picked a finalist, so I have 9 to read. I own 4 of the 9 in physical books. The rest of them I have e-copies of. We do get e-copies in order to judge the competition. I will probably prioritize reading these end of November and December. My plan for December is to literally read these, but I do kind of want to start early, especially because I do have to read Daughter of the Beast. And you can expect 2 Spiffbo 9 vlogs from me. I will be having a vlog where I read 4 of the books and a vlog where I read 5 of the books, and I will have my scores in there, in-depth thoughts, just like I did for my semi-finalists. It'll just be a similar video to that. I'm really excited for this. I think that I am going to have opposing thoughts to a lot of the judges, just from what I understand about our tastes and how Spiffbo Cassie's version went last year, where I loved a book that they didn't love as much, and I think it's going to be a very interesting year. I'm really excited to see where everyone lands, and I just love that we get to read all these incredible books and that taste is so subjective, and it really shows in this that there's just amazing books for everybody to read. My first vlog of the month was voted on by my patrons, and it will be a Snakes and TBR Stacks vlog. I will be like rolling as I go on the board, and Snakes and TBR Stacks will be giving me a prompt and I'll be picking a book and reading. I'll probably do like 3 to 4 rolls in that, and then if I hit snakes there'll be more rolls and things like that. So that'll be my first vlog of the month, and that's really exciting because that can kind of like lean into my mood reading wants, and I'm excited to see like what I read for that. I have already started one book for that vlog, and I'm really excited about it because it is the exact book that I'm in the mood for, and that is The Song of the Marked by S.M. Gaither. This is a fantasy romance. I am in a fantasy romance mood. In this one, we're following Cassia, who is a mercenary, and she only cares about one thing: getting the job done and making enough money to pay for the medicine that her mentor needs. So when the king offers her the deal of a lifetime, she can't say no, and obviously this leads to other things. I don't know where the fantasy romance comes into play. I've read the first 2 chapters only of this, and let me say that the story starts off with a bang. I'm ready to be obsessed with this story. And then speaking of just like my fantasy romance mood that I'm in, I definitely think that I will be picking up some more fantasy romance this month. Whether it is something like Kingdom of Shadow and Ash or Paw and the Crown, which are both by the same author. And this one is more fantasy romance and this one is more fantasy based, but I think one of these will go. I think this one has a bodyguard romance, and this one is about dragon eggs going missing and having to find the dragon eggs. This says Game of Thrones meets From Blood and Ash in this epic duology, recommended for an adult audience. I'm excited for this. The Crown of Oath and Curses by Jay Bree is something that's been on my radar for a long time. I've read both of the novellas already and I really liked them, so I think I'll like this one as well. I also could continue on in the Bloodgrey series and read Blood Sanctuary Part 1 and Part 2, which is book 3. I love this like vampire romance. This is like epic fantasy meets vampire romance. It spans so many books. It's like political and good, and then there's just like these like 2 characters who are so in love and just mushy and adorable, and I love them with all my heart, as well as just like the intricate world building that happens within this story between the Hesperenes, which are the vampires, and the lore behind them. It's something very unique and something I haven't seen before, so I'm always excited to continue on in this series. I'm sure there will be more fantasy romance that pops on my radar as well. I'm really excited. I'm thinking about a fantasy romance vlog, but we will see. My patrons voted for the Snakes and TBR Stacks vlog over the fantasy romance vlog. Maybe both will come, but we will see just like how my reading go throughout Snakes and TBR Stacks. Just because we're out of October does not mean my love of horror books goes away, and November I typically continue on reading some of them. So I do have Rachel Harrison to try. Black Sheep is her new one. I think me, Lexi, Kaylee, and Mel might do a buddy read of it, but I also have The Return to try by her. And Darcy Coates also comes out with a new book this month that I have an arc of that I'm really excited about, because obviously I love Darcy, and whatever other horror just like ends up on my lap, I definitely want to try to read a little bit more horror as well this month. And then of course epic fantasy. Like, we can't forget about epic fantasy. So my mood reading self really wants to get to Skullsworn, which is a standalone in the Emperor's Blade series, which is a trilogy I read in September back to back. I binged it, absolutely loved it, one of my favorite trilogies of all time. So I really do want to read this little standalone in this world and experience what the Skullsworn is all about. If you haven't picked up this series yet, I highly recommend it. It is incredible, amazing. Some of my favorite characters. Like, if you are a character reader, Gwenna will be your favorite character to ever exist. I just love Gwenna so much. Mask of Mirrors has been on my TBR for a really long time, so I should probably get to it. Maybe November is the time to do that. And then these 3 were on my like beginning of the year TBR for like the 10 series I wanted to read, and I have not read any of them. Would like to get to at least one of these to feel a little bit more accomplished on that list, because I think I've only read like 3 things off the 10. I would like to get to like 50% maybe before the end of the year, so hopefully I can try one of these. We have Inda by Sherwood Smith, which I'm really excited about. Ship of Smoke and Steel by Django Wexler. I love Django Wexler. And then The Pariah by Anthony Ryan, which I want to try. I think that is where my mood reading is lying with me right now, is these books and then the indie books and my book club books. And the world is my oyster in November, which is a lot of fun because I don't often let myself just create whatever I want to do. Like, yes, my channel is always content I love. It's content that I want to create, but it is a little bit more planned. And for November, I have like no set plans, because really December for me is Spifbo month. So if I decide I want to start Spifbo early, I'll start in November. If I don't, I don't. So November is just like open to whatever I want. If there's any content you would be really interested in seeing, let me know down below, because I'm always looking for some inspiration. I'm also really looking for some fantasy romance recommendations, so if you have any of those, let me know and we will see what November holds for all of us. Let me know down below what you're most excited to read in November, and then if you'd like to leave me an emoji just to say you were here, leave me a ship emoji, because ship is Smoke and Steel and I know there's a ship journey in Inda. And then if you want to connect with me on other platforms, my Bookstagram, my Book Twitter, my Goodreads, and my Patreon are all linked in the description bar below. Have yourselves an absolutely remarkable day.